First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
The search for a missing Florida boy is over. That's our top story tonight for March 20th, 2015. I'm Jesse Pagan.
And I'm Melanie Rule. Thanks for joining us.
Hollywood Police Chief Frank Fernandez says the body of 3-year-old Isaiah Osceola was found inside his father's home last night. Fernandez said the boy's body was found in an obscure location not readily visible to the average person. He did confirm the child could not have placed himself in that position.
The body is being processed right now by the medical examiner and our investigators, and we are looking into this as a criminal investigation until proven otherwise.
Isaiah was reported missing Thursday morning. That's when the extensive search was conducted on foot and in the air. WFT's Shannon Bajin joins us in a little bit from the newsroom. Gainesville's rivers, lakes, and creeks are popular destinations during the warmer weather, but they could be in danger of pollution. Shannon is live in the newsroom now with us. Shannon, what problems could these waters be facing?
Local waterways could be affected by pollution and contamination coming from residents' yards. It's up to everyone to help stop the problem.
Spring comes the start of working in the yard. Yard waste has to go somewhere, and it usually ends up in the street, blocking storm drains. When drains are blocked, spring showers can lead to flooded streets, yards, and possibly homes. The waste ends up going into rivers, lakes, and creeks, causing pollution.
We're in an area where we're kind of like this big bathtub that doesn't drain very well, and so when all this stuff gets into it, it just sits there, and it's more persistent.
Most yards are treated with pesticides or fertilizer to help them grow, and when the waste decomposes, it leaves behind these chemicals. This can lead to contaminated water and an increase in algae growth, causing problems for both wildlife and residents.
When your yard is covered with leaves, it's recommended to rake it next to trees and plants rather than blowing it into the street.
Landscaping companies like E-Tech Lawn Care are given instructions by the city to avoid blowing yard waste toward drains. Instead, it is blown into the grass to be shredded into mulch. Effects from the contamination can be seen quickly and are hard to recover from. The algae growth will eventually slow down, but if contamination keeps being added, it will take longer to fix.
If you add all these leaves and grass clippings and all this stuff, they're competing with the fish for the oxygen in terms of the decomposition, and it's just really kind of a mess.
Intentionally blowing or raking yard waste into drains is illegal under a city ordinance, so other than avoiding contamination, residents can also avoid a ticket and citation from the city.
The City of Gainesville provides a yard trash service that will come through neighborhoods and pick up any trash. Residents should rake their yard waste into a bag and put that near the curb to be picked up by garbage services. These bags need to be kept separate from regular trash to make sure it's disposed of properly. From the newsroom, Shannon Bajin, WUFT News.
Shannon, thank you. The warm-up continues with temperatures in the 80s today. Feels like we might have bypassed the first day of spring a little bit and just gone straight into summer.
UF forecaster Caitlin Tingham is live in the Weather Center tracking the skies on this first day of spring. Caitlin?
And what an absolutely beautiful first day of spring it has been. Our temperatures this afternoon reached 87 degrees here in Gainesville. It's actually the 11th day in a row that we've had temperatures above 80 degrees. But those temperatures are going to fall to a rather comfortable 60 degrees for a low this evening, 81 by 6 p.m., 71 by 10 p.m., and 64 by 2 a.m. No rain chances at all for your evening forecast. And those cloud conditions are going to remain partly cloudy all evening long. We are looking at some possible fog formation as we make our way into the evening hours, starting about 2 a.m. And ending that'll burn off about 9 a.m. Or 10 a.m. But coming up my main weather forecast, I'll let you know on all the details on a very warm weekend forecast.
Thanks, Caitlin. A University of Florida report shows crime rates on campus have gone up.
But the police says the increase might not necessarily be bad news. WFT Samantha Soisa joins us in the studio to tell us what this report means for the campus. Samantha?
That's right, Jesse. According to the report, violent crimes rose from 10 incidents in 2013 to 2014 to 13, and nonviolent crimes rose from 404 to 574. But the University of Florida Police Chief Linda Stump-Kernick says numbers are still low, and the fact that people are actually reporting more crimes is a good thing.
Crime rates at UF have risen slightly, but university officials see this as a positive. Why? They say more people are stepping up and reporting crimes instead of ignoring them. In the case of nonviolent crimes, this allows police to track crime patterns and target areas that need attention.
So throughout this past year, as we've seen a rise in bike thefts, we've put plainclothes details out, we've put them on bikes, we've put bikes out that are our bikes, the deco bikes, exactly, to hopefully catch a perpetrator, those kinds of things.
Some of the most common thefts on campus are bikes, mopeds, and electronics. UFPD recommends students don't leave their things unattended, never walk alone at night, and to be aware of their surroundings.
Chief Stump also recommends that students download the Tap Shield app, use Snap service, and for women to take the Rape Aggression Defense course offered right here at the University Police Department.
University officials are glad to see people reporting violent crimes as well. Sexual assault is one of the most underreported crimes on college campuses, and officials want people to feel comfortable reporting these crimes.
I think it's important not only that we as a police department have those open avenues for people to be able to come in and report, but also that the university provides avenues if they don't want to report it as a crime, but they still want to let somebody know that it happens.
Stump Kernick says crime rates are higher off campus in the Gainesville area. She says she believes campus is a very safe place by comparison.
Thanks, Samantha. The University of Florida Levin College of Law is hosting a commemorative march on Selma tomorrow morning. The march will start at the College of Law and end at Plaza of the Americas. Multiple student legal organizations will help pay tribute to those who marched on the bridge from Selma to Mobile, Alabama 50 years ago.
We want to remember what happened that day, but also connect it to what's happening today and show that civil rights are still important. It's not just something that happened in the past.
The march comes at the end of a series of events held across the nation in the midst of a national discussion about race relations in America. And a new study shows fewer teens are texting while driving, but they are still multitasking. 27% of teen drivers admit they occasionally change their clothes and shoes while driving. Others said they change their contact lenses, put on makeup, and even do homework while behind the wheel. And while texting and driving has dropped since earlier studies, 40% of teens said that they still do it.
There are new federal rules out today on hydraulic fracturing, better known as fracking, and they're controversial. Even though everyone agrees breaking rock to get out fossil fuel helped break the back of our Great Recession. Steve Handelsman has that story from Washington.
Fracking has dramatically increased oil and gas production in the U.S., driving down prices and helping the economy. But new rules are needed, says Obama Interior Secretary Sally Jubal.
It's pretty simple. If we don't have the right measures in place to protect the communities we live in, the air we breathe, and the water we drink, we all lose.
Pumping high-pressure water and chemicals deep into solid rock till the rock fractures and frees the oil and gas can pollute groundwater, and some charge even cause earthquakes. The first ever federal fracking rules would apply only on federal and Indian lands, requiring reinforced boreholes, better leak prevention, and disclosure of the chemicals pumped underground using this website, fracfocus.org. Oil companies say no need for new rules.
We use about 3 million pounds of steel and cement in each well to make sure the groundwater is protected. We have over 1 million applications of this that have occurred thus far with no documented cases of groundwater being impacted.
Many environmentalists are slamming the new Obama administration regs. They wanted a ban.
Fracking is inherently risky, and so we don't believe that these regulations, which are, essentially partial measures, will make fracking safe for public health and the environment.
But groundwater will now be safer, says the Interior Department. I'm Steve Handelsman, NBC News, Washington.
The Obama administration wants states to adopt these tougher new rules and apply them on private land where 3/4 of all U.S. fracking is actually done.
WUFT News First at 5 is just getting started. Coming up, doctors have found a new experimental weapon against Alzheimer's disease. We have the details and the breakdown of the side effects.
And one of the biggest names in hip-hop is being honored for his work outside of the studio. That's next in entertainment. We'll be back in 90 seconds.
watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome back. The Alzheimer's community is buzzing about an experimental drug which is showing great promise in early research, but some still remain skeptical. Erica Edward reports.
You just want to walk? For the more than 5 million Americans living with Alzheimer's, there is nothing. No drugs, no therapies to stop or even slow the disease from erasing their memories. But doctors say an experimental drug called aducanumab may benefit millions of others in the earliest stages.
We now know this disease can build up in the brain maybe 20 years before the clinical symptoms.
The drug works to seek and destroy a protein called amyloid that builds up in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. It's a little like bad cholesterol that builds up in arteries, leading to heart disease. In the small study from drug maker Biogen, the drug reduced amyloid buildup. What's more, it slowed memory loss in people just starting to show symptoms. Side effects included headaches, and some had a form of brain swelling at higher doses of the drug. Experts in the Alzheimer's field are optimistic about the findings, but urge caution.
This is very early in those human clinical trials. It will be going to its next phase, where often we've seen these drugs fail.
The number of people with Alzheimer's disease is expected to triple within the next 40 years. Erica Edwards, NBC News.
Biogen will move its drug to much larger phase 3 clinical trials. That's the final stage before submitting data to the Food and Drug Administration. And it's finally Friday, and of course that means it's time for entertainment.
WFT's Taylor Touche joins us now with the latest news from Hollywood.
Well, one famous rapper was honored today in Georgia. More on that later, but first, this week's box office releases. Every few years, a film franchise comes around that captures teenage hearts and wallets. In 2001, it was Harry Potter. 2008 brought Twilight. Last year, the Divergent series kicked off with blockbuster numbers, and they're hoping to build on that this weekend with the next chapter. Here's Raphael Seth with a box office preview.
You are living proof the Divergent problem has grown beyond all control.
Shailene Woodley blows through the Windy City in Insurgent. The second chapter of the Divergent series finds her character foraging future Chicago for allies. She's trying to find out why her family made the ultimate sacrifice, while Kate Winslet is on the hunt for more sacrifices. Insurgent is rated PG-13.
I did some bad things.
Sean Penn makes a dangerous confession in The Gunman. He plays an assassin working for a shadow corporation, but when the company starts laying off his co-workers with bullets, Penn tries to get his own house in order, only to find his wife has been taken. The Gunman is rated R.
You're having a breakdown. I'm broken. Ain't nothing left to break.
Al Pacino has a case of rock star's remorse in Danny Collins. He's a music legend with all of the trappings, but not much fulfillment. So when his manager delivers a letter written by John Lennon 40 years earlier, the aging rocker rediscovers what makes him sing. Danny Collins is rated R.
Roxanne.
From fictional rock to one of the biggest bands of the 80s is Can't Stand Losing You. This documentary is based on Andy Summers' memoir of his years as the lead guitarist of the band The Police before Sting left to become a solo artist. Can't Stand Losing You is in select theaters. That's the box office preview. Raphael Seth, NBC News.
During its box office debut, Divergent made $54 million. Its sequel, Insurgent, is projected to make $57 million. After retiring from the Army, Prince Harry announced a new adventure he's taking on in hopes of determining his future. Prince Harry plans to participate in a 1,000-mile charity trek throughout the UK. The excursion is part of a fundraising drive for Walking with the Wounded Foundation, which helps veterans rebuild their lives and their careers when they return home from service.
This process can be challenging, as it is for anyone seeking a new career. And as I make the transition myself, I'm determined to do all I can to help others.
Harry will join a team of 5 wounded veterans to kick off the Walk of Britain on August 22nd in Scotland to raise awareness about the needs of veterans, and the trek is set to be completed on October 31st. Over the years, one game has collected a lot more than $200 for Passing Go. Thursday marked the 80th anniversary of the world's best-selling board game Monopoly. The real estate game has brought families and friends closer together all over the world. Monopoly has been translated into 47 languages and is played in 114 countries, and more than 275 million copies have been purchased.
Ludacris and former President Jeb Bush shared a friendly photo op during his visit to the Georgia State House today. Luda, whose real name is Chris Bridges, was honored by state lawmakers for his philanthropic organization, the Ludacris Foundation, which aims to help young people all across America. Bush tweeted about the meeting saying, "Never thought at Ludacris would be at my opening act. His foundation does great work." So guys, I can't believe Monopoly turned 80 this week.
I know, in my house, instead of bringing us together, it definitely started a riot every Friday night, so that's all I'll say about that, but
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Congratulations to them. All right, thanks, Taylor. And if you haven't made plans for this weekend, you might want to consider the outdoors. It will be quite beautiful.
UF forecaster Caitlin Tingham is live in the WRUF Weather Center. She'll have your weekend forecast next on First at 5.
Well, it was an absolutely gorgeous day for the first day of spring here at the University of Florida. And luckily, we've got a couple more of those coming for your weekend forecast. Welcome back. I'm UF forecaster Caitlin Tingham. Now, technically, it's not spring until 6:45 this evening, but really, we've had temperatures above 80 degrees for the past 10 days. So here's a look at the live look at the University of Florida, 85 degrees, and we actually peaked at 87 degrees here at the University of Florida, and that's almost summerly for this for those kinds of temperatures. So we will enjoy those warm temperatures as a break from that cold, but definitely pack the sunscreen if you are heading out for this weekend. As for your evening forecast, here's an hour by hour: 81 by 6 p.m., 71 by 10 p.m., and 64 by 2 a.m. There is no rain chances at all for this evening, so you are free to not pack that umbrella for your evening plans for tonight. But we are expecting some fog to form this evening about 2 a.m. It'll start to form up by the Panhandle in Tallahassee and near Perry. It'll become more widespread as we reach Saturday early morning. Here in Gainesville, you're definitely going to see visibility problems, so please be careful if you are out early. But that fog should dissipate by 9 or 10 tomorrow morning. Here's a look at those lows tonight. Fairly comfortable 60 degrees here in Gainesville, 58 in Ocala, 63 in Cedar Key, and 61 in Jacksonville. Those temperatures are going to warm rather quickly as we make our way into Saturday afternoon. 84 here in Gainesville, 83 in Ocala, and 84 in Lake City. So like I said, we are pushing for 13 days in a row with temperatures above 80 degrees. Here's a look at your Gainesville weather for this weekend. 20% chance of rain on Saturday, just a spotty chance after 4 p.m., and a 30% chance on Sunday. But the better chance of rain will be on Monday. It'll be a mostly all-day rain event. So just keep your eye out for that as we make our way through this weekend. But you shouldn't have a problem for your weekend plans. It's not going to be a washout. Here's if you're planning on heading to the beach at St. Augustine, nice weather. You might have to dodge a couple showers, but overall temperatures in the upper 70s for St. Augustine this weekend. Here's a look at your future track for Saturday. Just a spotty shower you might see after 4 p.m. We're looking at just a couple of clouds here in Gainesville and a couple of pop-up showers up near Gainesville, and then it'll become a little bit more widespread as we make our way through the evening hours. But for the bigger picture, we're looking at Sunday being a little bit more chance of rain as a low-pressure system makes its way closer to our area. Here is Monday by 7 a.m. You can see all of this rain that's associated with this low-pressure system. It's going to start to make its way to our area by Monday, and that's what's going to cause all that rain on Monday. But luckily, we are looking at a low-pressure system will move through, but also cold front will move through as well, and that's going to help to cool us off for your Saturday. Saturday, high pressure is the temperature is 84. On Sunday, a spotty chance of rain after 2 p.m. Better chance of rain on Monday, but those temperatures are going to drop Tuesday and Wednesday.
Caitlin, thank you. Day 2 of March Madness continued earlier with a little less of exciting outcomes than the day before.
WFT's Kaylee Glider will join us next to break down today's action and more.
Welcome back to sports. I'm Kaylee Glider.
Since the NCAA tournament of 1985, a 12 seed has defeated a number 5 seed 44 times. Just as early as last year, 3 out of the 4 12 seeds were the favorites over their 5th seed opponent. But this year was a little different, as the 5th seeds left the round of 64 victorious. Northern Iowa showed no interest in allowing for a possible upset with a final of 71-54. Paul Jefferson led the team in double figures with 16 points. Tarek Phillip of West Virginia hit a three-pointer with 28 seconds left to hold off number 12 Buffalo 68-62. Still plenty of competition with the round of 64 ending today and round 32 starting tomorrow. The Florida Gator baseball team is in Oxford for its first weekend road series. The Gator offense is on fire, hitting a .310 as the team, while pitching staff ranks 8th nationally, allowing just 6.62 hits per 9 innings. When the Gators score first, they are 14-0. The Gators have outscored their opponents 66-7. First game begins tonight at 7:30. The number 2 Florida gymnastics team is in Georgia this weekend, looking to claim its 10th SEC title. 5 of the nation's top 10 teams will be among the 8 teams competing on Saturday. At least one Gator has been picked up league honors in 9 of 10 weeks of regular season, with Keitra Hunter picking up her 4th SEC Gymnast of the Week. Hunter is the nation's top all-around based on regional qualifying scores. Competition starts at 2 p.m. on Saturday with the coverage on the SEC network. Also on the road this week is the 3rd-ranked Florida softball team. The Gators will be in Crimson Tide territory for a 3-game series starting on Saturday. This set at Rhodes Stadium will mark the team's first meeting since the Orange and Blue took 2 games from Alabama last June to capture UF's first national championship. First pitch is on Saturday at 2 p.m. Yet again, another Florida team will be away this weekend when the lacrosse team begins Big East Conference play. The Gators are coming off 3 straight losses, which is just the 2nd time in program history, but look to find themselves back in the win column against Vanderbilt. Head coach Amanda Leary says the team will focus on 1 game at a time.
We need to compete for those 7 games and, hopefully make it to the tournament and go from there. So, but it's just really important right now for us to compete for that, conference championship and be part of that.
Game time will be on Sunday in Nashville at noon. In other orange and blue action outside of Gainesville, the men's golf team is currently competing in the 36th annual Chris Schenkel Invitational hosted by Georgia Southern, with the tournament running until Sunday. Men's tennis is on the road against Arkansas, looking for their 3rd straight win, which will be the longest streak of the season. And finally, the track and field team will head to Orlando for UCF's Black and Gold Challenge. Still lots of left tonight for March Madness, with some exciting matchups left tonight. But stay tuned, there will be more news after the break.
Well, if you didn't get the opportunity to enjoy the beautiful first day of spring that we had today, not to worry, because I have a gorgeous weekend forecast ahead for you. So here's your Saturday day planner. It's going to warm up quickly to about 70 degrees. There'll be a mix of sun and clouds by 3 p.m. on your Saturday, and then there will be a chance of showers as we move into the evening hours on your Saturday. On Sunday as well, there will be a chance for spotty showers after 2 p.m., but the better chance for rain is on Monday. And then on Monday, a cold front will make its way through, and then those temperatures are going to fall on Tuesday and Wednesday, 73 and 79. We've got some more chances of rain on Wednesday and Thursday, but not to worry, because this weekend is going to be absolutely gorgeous. If you have fun weekend plans ahead, tweet us at WRUF Weather. Back to you.
Thanks, Caitlin. Beautiful weekend ahead for sure. And thank you at home for watching WFT News First at 5.
BBC World News is next, followed by WFT News at 6. And your local news is always on at WUFT.org. Good night.
Good night.